Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to ILR Season 6. We're here for round 16 of the championship at the beautiful Sochi racetrack in Russia. Today we haven't got the usual commentators. Andy unfortunately cannot be here, and Diablo unfortunately had to pull out of commentating. So you are here with myself, Talon or Malta, and today I'm joined by Luke or Humphrey.
Hello, pleased to be here. I'm sure we'll have an exciting race, just the 12 drivers with us today.
Yep.
Well, we have lost, sadly, Tyrolus from the league, and I'm sure that'll be a great loss to ILR, but we still have 12 exciting drivers here today. It's former teammates here at Cosby starts the first lap of the session. You want to take us on board, Callum?
Yep, as we're on board with the Irishman, Cyril Russell comes into turn 1 here, breaks on the 100-metre board, gets the car turned in, goes through turn 2 quite well there, and we've got a really long turn 3 here. Very easy, just a bit of time there to go a little bit wide, but he's done it very well. Now mitigate this there to the right hander. Now going through the end of sector 1, going to sector 2, which is very much a 90-degree right hander or left hander every corner. Comes through a little kink and out to the right hander. What's he going to do? There's a little wide there, and I think he might potentially invalidate his time, but we'll see. He hasn't actually left off yet, so they're following around on the lap, and now going on to the back straight on this right hander. How's he going to take it? Doing very well. Doesn't use the kind of back of the exit, and now it's trying to go onto the back straight. Let's see what the man that's watching the racing point can do. He's having a very decent ball high so far this season and some results. ILR Bahrain to be one of them, but now he's going through. I believe he is going to be the first one to set time, so let's see what he can do for the benchmark. But now sector 3 takes the left hander very well, and the right hander now going to the penultimate corner and the final corner, which are very easy to mess up and lose a few tenths here. He does very well there, and now comes into the final corner. Let's see what he can do, and he comes through to set a 1:31.4 to be the first time of the session. Pretty good there, Luke.
Yeah, high rhythms, validate. Yes, he validated that. 30.2 from Joe though. Straight away, expect to see times towards the high 29s. I'm sure we'll be there towards the end of the session. The track ramps up. Let's go on board with watching Prix through the final corner, and he sets a 30.6, 3.5 tenths off his teammate. Other drivers, Pionel Brown, win into the final couple of corners. 30.6, he validated it on the last couple of corners there.
But now onto board with Cyril, the Brazilian. The man in the championship fight comes around the final corner, sets a 30.8, comes on third, 6 tenths off. Oh my god, it's Joe in the Mercedes. And Joe has shown so far this season they have had the pace to keep up with the two front runners in Prix and Cyril, and at the moment he's sending a real big statement to the big guns in the league. He's looking to definitely do well in this race. He's now on this cool down lap, but yeah, so far we've got 8 out of the 12 drivers have set time. I'm assuming the other 4 drivers will probably invalidate their times. I mean, I'm going to get onto it, but it's incredibly easy around this track to invalidate your lap time, because it's just, I mean, it's the corner cutting. I mean, it's one of those on the game where it's just really inconsistent. I mean, you won't cut a corner and you'll be on the warning, and then you absolutely blitz a corner and you'll be absolutely fine. I mean, it's one of those where we'll see potentially a lot of time penalties tonight.
Yeah, it could come into it. You might see drivers just sitting behind them towards the end if they know that they're going to get that place on penalties. It's one of them tracks where there aren't the high curbs that you see at other tracks that can be tempting to cut. So the likes of Australia, you've got some quite high curbs that you don't want to touch. So drivers won't necessarily take that risk as they will at circuits like this one. But yeah, we will see. Penalties come into play later in the race, I'm sure.
Yep, absolutely right you are. But we're just looking, it's 11 minutes left in the session. I think everyone else now is coming in to put a fresh set of those soft tyres. And we're going to go into strategy now, Luke. And what would you say is the strategy around the Sochi circuit?
I would say it should be it will be a straightforward one-stop, whether drivers opt to go on the softs or the mediums or the hards. The mediums should be quite good towards the end. It's just whether drivers can keep the tyre temps down around here. It is a notorious track for higher temps, so yeah, we'll see. And I've just had confirmation that there is no rain for the race, so it will be a straightforward one-stop.
Yep, so. a straight out shootout, as many would say. I mean, there may be a few safety cars. It's very rare in this game to get one, but you never know. But rain will not be affected today for the Russian Grand Prix, so that's one possibility completely thrown out the window. But as you said, there is a multitude of strategies you can go on. I mean, for some of the tracks around, on the calendar, you really have to do it's more like a one-shot qualifying, the medium or the hard run. But for the tracks like this, you can go with soft, medium, soft, hard, potentially, or if you get down to map 1, medium to soft, just on board with on it shows, really abusing the track right now, trying to get round to set his second time. I mean, I won 30.2. I mean, I was looking at time beforehand before the race, and I thought you'd probably be around level 30, but for a banker like what Joe's setting a really good precedent there.
Yeah, it's a great banker, and I thought we'd have low 30s for poles, but yeah, he's set the precedent to go try and get into the 29s. I'm sort of actually surprised. We'll have something to say about that though. It's a brief yellow at the moment, and again it says 3 probably drivers just slowing down to get ready for their flying laps. Seal Rosberg is the first one again. Start his lap, but I think we'll go on board with OMG, it's Joe. And again, nicely done through sets 1. Slightly touches the exit curve through turn 2, and it's flat through the reminiscent turn 8 at Turkey. Navigates that well, doesn't extend as well. We have a first set of reference of a 32.6. There's a 10th up on his time, and I think he just validated his lap there, and that confirms
it. I was about to say, that confirms it definitely. I mean, I think he might just cut it just a little bit. I was on board with him, and yeah, he did go a little bit too early into the corner, but nevertheless, he has got 8 minutes 30 left in the session to get a good timing. I mean, he's already got a pretty good timing in himself, but since his lap time is down, we're looking board with Rosberg. He is currently a 10th up on his yeah, recently is had a very big success in the F1 Esports. Yesterday he did qualify for the Pro Draft. Let's see what the Pro Draft qualifying can do right now. So it's a 1:31.196, putting himself into P4. But look at the gaps here. I mean, between first and fourth, it's currently 9 tenths. I mean, we're so used to seeing such close gaps between these guys. I mean, it's almost a bit of a shock already.
Yeah, it's such a technical circuit, this one. You've got the lights, the 2 longer straights, and you've got the technical aspects of sector 3. So it's really dependent on that setup. Do you go with that lower downforce setup, or do you go for something a bit higher just so you can try and stay a bit closer through sector 3? But Blotche surprised on a decent lap here. So it's 10th and a half up through sector 1. Couldn't quite see what he was up through sector 2. Comes up to the penultimate 2 corners. And around the final corner he goes. Ooh. And that is provisional pole. 30.1.
That was an absolute blitz lap from there, from the championship leader. But just trying to see what Jesus Sira can do. He's gone set a 1:30.4. I was watching on board with him, and he was 2 tenths up on the middle sector, and he gained a few in that final sector. But surprise there, making a statement to his teammate. He's saying, anything you can do, Joe, I can do better, as Joe is currently coming out for another set of the soft tyres. I believe he's probably gone for the softer tyre choice on this track as he's on his third set of softs already. But I mean, between them, I believe I'm going to go with predictions already. I mean, it is 6 set. We've got 6 minutes left to go there. I believe it's probably going to be between these two. The two Mercedes are going to be battling out for the pole position for the race. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think at this stage it looks like there's a battle between the 2 Mercedes for pole and the ILR as well, popping in 4th place. Good luck from the Red Bull driver. It's P1R Brown. He's not set a lap time, yeah. He's coming up to those penultimate right-handers. Sacrificing got some bit of oversteer on through the last corner, probably cost him just about half a tenth. He goes onto the 3rd row along with his teammates. That last corner you can sacrifice it a lot, especially because the line comes up quite quickly as Joe starts his 3rd lap of the session.
He was on board with the youngster who is in the same, he's going around the swooping left-hander here. I mean, we're on board with Rosberg. Let's see how Joe takes it in retrospect to Rosberg. I mean, that is a very good line for him there, hitting it brilliantly. And now see what his first sector split is. He is up by a 10th, so at the moment he will be on par with the Loftus Garage's time. Pardon me. As we now through the technical turn, sector 2 here, and we'll see coming through the left-hander, double left-hander here. Almost goes wide there. Really pushing this hard to the limit is Joe, and now coming through to the back straight, opens up the DRS and puts it up into overtake ERS. What is even set to split really hugging the walls here, trying to move as little time as possible up into this heavy braking zone. He's 2 tenths up on his team on his time, and now putting at least a tenth up on his teammate. Let's see if he can keep this lap clean going into sector 3. Takes this left-hander very well, and the right, almost like a chicane like that is, and yeah, almost going to wind that into the barrier, but now comes through the penultimate corner, takes it very well, and now to the last corner, see what he can do. He's right there, losing a bit of time, but still puts himself on pole with Joe. He's probably kicking himself there at the end. I mean, at least 3 tenths up there. I mean, just it's a good time, but I believe Prix will be able to do that.
Yeah, he got slightly wide through like the snail bit after he'd gone onto the bridge. He got on the exit curve slightly there, which could have cost him a bit of time as well. Yeah, he's onto pole, and that's the benchmark that they all have to be. And yeah, this is what like a 3-class field at the moment. We've got the 2 Mercedes, then we've got Syrah, and then we've got the rest of the pack headed by VSR Overkills. And Syrah is out at the moment. Apparently his lap.
Yeah, just looking at Syrah. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just looking at the field. I mean, we are missing a few of the drivers you normally see up in that top part. Yeah, that top group. I mean, we've got behind them, likes of CRG and VSI, which will unfortunately not want to attend the race today. But nevertheless, we have got 12 drivers here and very strong drivers, I've got to say. I mean, the field might be a bit spread out, but it might just be how the track is. I mean, it's very, very easy to better. Some people may have gone for a high downforce, or some might have gone for straight line speed, trying to get the overtakes done on the DRS straights. But we're on board with these to warm his tyres up, and when he gets around, I'll hand over to you, Luke, and you can do the honours of taking us through a track, taking us through a lap with Syrah.
Yeah, he sets himself up for the best possible exit down the start finish straight. Syrah, and he produces a special lap, taking to the 2 Mercedes drivers. With 1 minute 55 to go in the session. Brakes just before the 100-metre board. Gets the car rotated well into turn 1. Opts for a narrow route into sweep into turn 3. So as close as you can to the curb. Gets the car turning very well, not as clean as Joe, I'd say, and he's backed out of his lap time. I wonder if he didn't get the turn in into turn 4 there. And let's see who else is on the laps. We've got Hyde Rhythms, EVR Reynolds,
Jason.
Jason, yeah.
Yeah, Jason currently down in P11. I mean, we've just got board with him there, and he's run tremendously wide. Yeah, as you said, he is backed out, and I think right here, we have got 1 minute left in second. So drivers who are currently in like the second sector, just going past the second sector, they'll probably be able to get another lap in. So this track is 90 seconds, and they'll probably be able to get round. I mean, it's going to be a bit tight for some of them. The track map, but trying to see who it might be a type of their last run. But yeah, anyone on a lap currently.
P1R Brown is just going through the first sector now. See the first sector split, and he's 6 milliseconds down this time. But 0.6 is what the likes of Jones and Prime were doing. So can he keep that momentum up through? Middle sector goes slightly wide through that pink. Used much of the apex as Joe and Surprise did. Joe and Surprise have only got 10 seconds to go. Will they get across the line in time? To start their lap, Surprise does. I'm not sure about Joe. Will Joe cross the line in time? Does, just before the time runs out. And P1R Brown is 500s down on his personal best so far. Going into the tricky final chicane. Could have taken maybe a bit more curve there. Now he approaches the tricky final 2 corners. Lots of 4th gear. Rotates the car well. Going through the final corner. He goes into P4 onto the second row. The SR overkills now, crosses the line, and he replaces P1R Brown.
That was a good lap there from the Red Bull driver. It hasn't been a bit unfortunate in his races so far. Alex puts himself into P8 with a 1:31.2 in the McLaren. But yeah, overkills, good, strong qualifying for him so far. But we've still got the big guns coming out to try and best each other. We've got Ciro, who's going to be the first of the top 3 to come over the line. Set a 1:30.146. So close to, oh my god, it's Joe's time. But we have got Joe and lots of Surprise on their laps. We're going to go forward with lots of time. Oh, Amagon almost hits the outside wall there. Very lucky to keep a wheel on his car, but now he's going through the last corner. Can he best his teammate? No, he doesn't. And Joe's back to his lap, but surely he has got pole now. The only person left on the time is Bruno Will, the in P11. So that, look how close those top 3 are. There's 400 between Joe and Surprise and third. I mean, a massive gap down to overkill, so we can kind of infer what kind of race it's going to be like, but that is a incredibly close qualifying there, Luke.
Yeah, I think Ciro showed his class there, managed to split the 2 Mercedes when we thought it was going to be a straight shootout between them 2. But yeah, some good laps there. VSR was getting himself into P4, then the other 2 Williams just behind them there. So do a rundown of the grid for you guys. Let's have a look. So we have MG, it's Joe on pole by 29 thousandths of a second to Shazoo Sira. Veloce Surprise in 3rd. That's a poor qualifier for someone like him, but I'm sure he'll get a lovely toe down to turn 1. And we've got VSR Overkills, rounds off the second row. Then we've got the 2 Williams boys of P1R Brown and TSR Baztec. Then we've got the Toro Rosso of Hyde Rhythms alongside EVR Reynolds. And then we have CRO Rosberg in 9th, and then VSR Drolix in 10th, and then the Haas of BLR Bruno Will and JC97 will have free choice of tyres.
Yep, that is the grid we're going to have for the start of the Russian Grand Prix. Round 16 of this championship, and we're coming down to the crunch time. I believe the gap between Surprise and Sarah is almost about 80 points, I believe, after Singapore, as Surprise did take the victory. But I think for Sarah, if he can get a good result here, maybe it could give him the momentum to get a charge into the last 4 or 5 rounds of the season. I know that he's a very quick around the likes of his home track in Brazil, but now he's got to focus on the Sochi circuit in Russia. One of the trickiest tracks, I'd say, to drive in this game and not get a penalty, and we're going to probably see, even with 12 drivers on the grid, we're going to see a lot of penalties here. But yeah, talking about the race start here, you did touch on it. The drivers, especially Joe, I mean, this is kind of like, what was it, Spa, where you don't really want to be on pole in that run down to, the Camel Straight. You don't really want to be on pole here because there's a massive run down to what is I call it turn 1, but some people call it turn 2 because of a little kink. But yeah, is Joe potentially at a disadvantage here of being on pole?
Well, he's at a disadvantage anyway because he's got Shizu Sira alongside him, obviously on the pad, so you should see Sira get away well, and then Surprising and Overkill is going to get a double toe down towards turn 2, so we could see 4 abreast down there. But yes, it's one of those circuits where you don't really want to be on pole. But send us your predictions in the chat, guys. I'll read them out as we go around the formation lap here. What are your predictions, Callum, for the race? Who do you fancy for the win?
It's going to be an interesting one. I believe the top 3 will stay as it is. I'm going to go with. I believe it's going to be Joe is going to be 3rd. I think Sira 2nd, and Surprise will come from 3rd to 1st on the grid. But these guys are going to be stuck right with each other for the rest of the race.
Yeah, we've got our first prediction. PRVT Kyle says Sira will take the victory. It's not a bad shout, especially with the start of the pad. So, repping the green helmet there for his native Brazil. And approaching tricky final sector on the race. We have a goal prediction from Freak Show saying Plastic will take an easy win. So, if he wins today, then I will be asking for his lottery numbers for this Saturday. So,
yep. Maybe Freak Show doesn't know. Maybe Freak Show knows something that we don't. But anyway, we are getting to the start of this race. I'm very excited to be commentating this one. I'm sure you are as line up on the grid now. You can see Joe going ahead in the grid and waiting for the red door of Jason Knight from F1 to come to the edge of the field. Anyone in the chat, obviously, I hope you enjoy the live stream so far. I hope you enjoy this race, even with 12 drivers. I'm sure it's going to be an absolute spectacle. But now the last of the grid are lining up, and we are going to be going with 5 red lights later. So we're going to get them up. Right now we have got the 5 red lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and the Russian Grand Prix is away. And we've got Joe and Sira going almost side by side. Joe goes to the inside to cover off the Brazilian. Right, let's see what this switch is going to be for these guys. Sira chooses not to go for the slipstream. We've got Surprise going down the inside. Sira having to break late. Surprise almost forcing off the Brazilian there, and it's a bit of drama back there. Surprise gets round the outside of the Brazilian there. Brilliant move by the Welshman, and now he's all over the back of his teammate there. Chaotic start from the back as well. I believe the Basket is going down into 12 places. Jason goes down the inside on track, trying to force a move on the Canadian, but up front, Joe remains.
Yeah, there's a bit of debris coming off turn 1. Maybe that was from TLR Bastek. If that was, it's quite unfortunate as we have Hyde, Rhythms and EVR Reynolds going side by side. Reynolds will get the run and the switchback. So side by side down, back straight. EVR Reynolds will have the inside line into tricky chicane. Ooh, brakes late. Oh, as it goes off the track joints. There's Cyril and Rosberg got through. They're still going side by side. And there we go.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think there might be a bit of lag there for Toro Rosso, but Reynolds has lost position. He has gained his position as well. Rosberg is an absolute scoring start tonight. 6th, but up at the front. Hasn't really changed. Joe sets a final lap on the first lap, but surprise isn't really going for a move just yet. You can see in his ears he is trying to stick behind, but Overkills and Brown are all over the back of this battle for the lead at the moment. And we've got Rosberg who is chasing them down. The Pro Drive Esports qualifier. He's looking to make a statement here, showing that it wasn't luck yesterday and it was a good drive, and he's doing quite well right now in the racing point. But back down at the bottom of the grid, I think Bruno Will and Bassett could be fighting. Bruno Will all over the back of the Williams. He's going for a move. No, he's not. I think Bassett's got the move up, but he's almost Bassett gets a second drift from Jason, so he's going to lose that precious DRS.
Yeah, Bassett is a great move around the outside of turn 3 there, and I think it's Bruno who's got damage. Looking at his front wing end plate, I think he's got damage on that left hand side. And yeah, it's a great move there from Bassett, even though his rival had DRS and came back to the front. And it seems to be at the minute where we have the typical DRS train characteristics again occurring as the top 6 all within a second of it. Well, within a second of the car behind.
It's not the top 6, I've got to say. I'm looking right now, and down to 10th. From first to 10th, they're all in second control. Going in and out of that second barrier, but still, what first and 7th, they're looking really fighting to try to set the fastest lap, and that's going to be beaten by Cyril Rosberg. I said he was going to charge, and he's already on the back of Kieran down there. Now, will be enabled. Let's see. What's the surprise? Goes for a move up in the front on his teammate. No, he's going to fall back into formation any more down the field. No one's going to go for a move just yet. Tries on the back of ribbons, but nothing going on there. Bruno Will has gone for a move on Bastek. He's gone really wide there, and Bastek is in the wheel. He's going to get the move back, but they're going to side by side into turn 3 and on to turn 4. Who's going to come? This is about for the wooden spoon in the race, but it's nonetheless. And Bruno Will is going to keep around the outside there, and Overkill's already got a penalty. He's got in the third lap 3. He's got the first penalty. But Bruno Will in that battle was able to keep the position, but they are really far away off the points of holder of Jason 97. But Overkill is interesting in 4th, getting the first penalty of the race, and I mean that's putting him at a disadvantage already.
Yeah, it shows how far or how much the Red Bull driver is pushing to try and stay with these top 3. Surprise, there's a little look at Joe, just reminds his teammate that he's there. Joe didn't.
Sorry to interrupt, Cyril Rosberg is going to get past Kieran Brown there. He missed that move completely. What a move there from the racing point driver. He is known for his race pace so far this season, as seen by his podiums that he has got so far in season 6, but he's got past Kieran Brown, which is not an easy task. I've got to say, it's Reynolds gets a penalty, and Jason moves up ahead of Dralik, but now Rosberg is on for a charge on
here we go.
Battle for the lead. The battle for the lead, and surprise goes down the inside of Joe and makes the lead. We've seen the battle for the lead as behind us really good. Oh, what's happened there? There's a massive crash on the start of the street. It's gone. I believe there's Drake and Jason both have damage there as well. We've missed that completely, but my word, that was a hell of a crash. It was luckily we did catch the move for the lead. Surprise is up into the lead of the racing. Joe probably is going to be harvest DRS now and try and keep behind the Welshman in the Mercedes. But my word, that looked like a massive crash.
Yeah, it shows that in real life that would have been a safety car, but obviously not in this game. I saw that there were 3 drivers fighting going through the final 2 corners, and Jason went up the inside the final corner, and obviously something happened. Then the start finish straight as Joe staying within 3 tenths of his teammate. Sarah just sitting behind, saving his ERS as the majority of the drivers are. Overkill's getting very close to the back there of the Brazilian. And let's see if we have another swap for the lead. And the start-finish straight.
On board
Price
with Joe
fastest
now.
lap of the race.
Yeah, he's 6 tenths back, so at the moment it's not looking like he's going to get past Surprise at all. He's put it in to overtake ERS, but he's way too far back. He'd have to go for a Danny Ricciardo move to have any sort of chance of getting past him on this lap. But for Joe,
the fierce overkills nearly hits the back.
Oh, he's taking Cyril out.
What? Oh, it looked very slight contact. Very slight contact. I don't think Cyril's got damage, but that is massive for the Alfa Romeo driver. He was looking really good in this race. And now Cyril Rosberg has made his way up into the podium positions. VSR overkills just outbraked himself slightly and has hit the back of the Alfa Romeo driver. He nearly did it through the twisty tight technical parts of the last sector, but has now hit the back of Cyril. And now these two, as Cyril pits for time penalty as well.
It's going bad to worse here for the Brazilian, unfortunately. They're being called to be that incident. We'll have to see that. It probably will be taken to the stewards. I'm guessing so, as Rosberg up into the podium positions. The racing point driver up from 9th to 3rd. He's made an absolute storming start, and now he's a bit far away from the guys up ahead. And I think Gran might have gone for a little bit of a move there, and he had to recorrect. But now going up to the front. It's the battle of the Mercedes. It is Surprise versus Joe, as we've seen throughout this season so far. Who's going to come out on top today? We've seen, but 21 laps left to go in this race. Joe really far behind, and he loses a lot of time out of that last corner. And you see now he's going to have no sort of chance to get past Surprise. But Piona Brown is going to have a chance to get past Cyril Rosberg, and has done for P3 in this race. Overkills is right behind him, but Rosberg is going to get the switch back as Brown went really deep into turn 1 there, and he's going to get the move back. But he's got to watch out for Overkills behind, who has been able to come back from that little spin that he had on the previous lap, and he's all over the back of these two. But I mean, now it's these guys are losing hand over fifth to the guys ahead, and surely it's just a 2-horse race for the win now.
Yeah, it looks like it's a shame for the race, that small little incident, but it's had big impacts on the championship. And Cyril down in 7th place with a penalty as well. He's got Dralex within DRS of him now. What can Cyril do? It's closing back up to the podium places, and looking down the field, we have overkills within 0.4 of a second of the McLaren and Williams. I'm sure we'll see some more moves down the start-finish straight between these three.
On board,
Joe's a lot closer as well.
I was about to say on board, it's Joe now, and he looks a lot closer, but he gets another bad exit there. You can see as Piona Brown is the first of the front runners to go into the pits, and now we're on board with Joe, who is he's getting a really bad exit out of that last corner. I don't know whether he's just not got the confidence to take it like Surprises at the moment, and you can see he's able to keep up with him with DRS, but there's just nothing he can do to get past him on the front straight. He's going to have to wait another lap, but interesting to see where Piona Brown comes out. He's going to come out now in P9. Healthy gap to Bastek behind, who has had to unfortunately change his wing. I believe he was caught up in that hide ribbons incident that did take out a few drivers early on in the race. But yeah, see Joe, he's catching a lot in the 2nd and 3rd sectors. I believe he probably might have a high downforce setup, or a higher downforce setup than Surprises at the moment. But you can see coming onto the back straight, he's going to use the overtake ERS to get as close as he can to the Veloce driver, but he's just not anywhere near getting to him on the most important parts. It's just Surprise is just getting a lot better traction out of these corners. Maybe he's doing better on the tyres. I don't know what you think of it.
Yeah, at the end of the straight, he is using no ERS, so it's like he's just trying to Surprise go slightly wide there, and he does dive into the pit lane. He went for a dummy, then decided I'm going to be the one that pits, and now Joe's got to bolt it here on these set of soft tyres.
Yeah,
Cyril gets a 5-second penalty.
Yeah,
that'll be taken off. I was in speed in the pit lane, I couldn't see that. I thought there is a corner cutting glitch. I've got the Twitch thing at the bottom, so I couldn't quite see what that penalty was for. But we'll see where.
Oh, he's put himself on the hard tyres as well. Interestingly, surprise overkills and Pierre Brown have all gone onto the mediums. Rosberg has gone onto the hards, so maybe he's not confident that the mediums will go this far. I mean, I thought he's definitely going to start a medium strategy, or maybe he's screwing up his strategy already, as he's going to come out side by side with Pierre Brown there, and Brown is going to come out ahead of his two rivals there, and that's very good there for the Williams driver, who was behind Rosberg before the start of the pits. I mean, he's had absolute stellar outlap there, and now he's surely going to get somewhat of a gap on Rosberg, who's going to be on those tyres, which are, you know, the hard tyres are a very slow compound in this game, and we're definitely going to see it over the next few laps.
Yeah, it's important that Pierre Brown tries to close up to Surprise. While his tyres are still slightly colder than his rival, as Jesus is 10 seconds now behind OMG, it's Joe. And we'll see what Joe has done on his in-lap, and he does dive into the pit lane. You can get it all slowed down. Yeah, nicely slowed down. Jason picks up a penalty, and Sierra, Reynolds and Dralex all come into the pit lane. As Reynolds picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding. I'm not sure if anyone else did switch quite quickly, so won't catch that there. The Ferrari isn't held, neither was the Mercedes.
See how they come out.
Veloce Surprise comes out.
You see, Veloce Surprise is coming out right now, and I think he's going to come out ahead of Joe Shirley. And there's a little bit of a swipe there to the inside by. I don't know what that was.
Oh, he's got the switchback.
Yeah, you see, Veloce Surprise. He's come out behind Joe here, and Joe. I don't know if he had a really good in-lap there, but he's made it stick, and he's now ahead of Veloce Surprise on one lap hold, 1 lap younger tyres than his teammate, and that is going to be a mega win there for Joe.
Yes, Cyril Rosberg is maintaining the DRS between P1R Gran. It's critical of his race. He could come into the fold towards the VSR if he was picks up another time penalty. He can maintain that gap of within a second. Or as it nearly goes out the second there. If you could maintain it, you could come strong towards the end of the race. But that was a mega in-lap from Joe, managing to do the overcut on his teammate. And now it's just a question whether P1R Brand can lead the charge, lose up to the two Mercedes. As these three are just DRSing each other. Series in a good position here to get a P5 with overkills and some penalties. Much surprise, he's close again, and he opted for high ERS made. Back down to medium, so he will once again stick behind his teammate, looking to pull away from P1R Brown. At the moment we've got quite a stagnant field, a lot is really happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'll pick up, but I think it's pretty common, as you said earlier on this stream, that it's normally just a DRS train, and drivers are encouraged, drivers behind are encouraged just to save their ERS rather than waste trying to get past, especially for the drivers like in Rosberg and Overkill's place right now, who are wanting Pierre Brown to try and catch.
Sorry to interrupt you there. VSR Overkill nearly lost it on the exit of, I'm not sure what turn that is, the third turn after the second sector. Nearly lost it on the exit curve, and a massive snap of oversteer, managed to keep it out of the wall. Sorry there, Callum, it was quite a big moment there for the Red Bull driver.
That could have been game over there for Overkill, who is in quite a promising position right now. He has got penalties, but he at the moment is currently in P5, which would be a quite good result considering he has had a really torrid run of four matches. Pierre Brown gets a 3-second time penalty, and I believe that might be what Ross needs to get that P3. He's keeping up on these hard tyres. Credit to Rosberg coach too, that he's doing really well on the hard tyres at the moment. But Overkills is right behind him. He's going to pull to the inside here. The Red Bull versus the Racing Point. Who's going to get the move? Who's going to be ahead of him? And Rosberg has to go off there. And he's used the escape route, but unfortunately that has lost him a lot of time. He tried out braking Overkills. He did send it down the inside quite reluctantly almost, and that's now really hampered his chance of getting that P3. I mean, it was these two, they're both fierce boys. I mean, you'd think they'd work together, but that is not the case whatsoever. And now Pierre Brown is almost chuckling to himself because he's just all he's got to do is get out of that second gap. Two Overkills, and his P3 might be all said and done.
Yeah, Rosberg now have DRS of the SR Overkills. This is the time that these two start and break, and Syrah also closing the gap to these three, 4.5 seconds now gap. As Flotchy Surprise still within that 0.2 of a second margin behind his teammate. And I think we'll start to see the battle between these two over the final 5 to 6 laps of the race. And BSR kills 0.7 of a second behind ILR Brown.
As
Cyril Rosberg.
That's his first penalty. And he gets another penalty there as well. He gets an instant 3-second time penalty. So he's after 6 in 2 corners. Oh, this has been probably the worst lap of his racing career, surely. I mean, that, losing position to Overkills and losing DRS, and now he's got 6 seconds worth of time penalties. Maybe we can get them removed, but that surely ruined his racing career.
Yeah, he had a 5-second as well from the pit lane as well, so 11 seconds a minute. So Syrah's looking good for at least a 4th here. So Brown's got a penalty as well. Overkills has got 2, so Syrah's looking good at the moment to try and wrestle back that podium spot. I'm sure obviously he'd have wanted a lot more, he'd have wanted to fight for the win, but unfortunately for the Alfa Romeo driver, he's down in 6th place, but he's catching the racing point of Cyril Rosberg.
Yeah, all as we got to the top, well I say we're going up to the top. Surprise getting in within 0.3 of Joe there. He's sticking behind his teammate, maybe trying to save as much ERS as possible. At the moment, Joe's on 100% ERS. He could actually blitz the next lap and try and get away from Surprise, but he's doing very well here. Just keep Surprise behind him. I mean, Surprise at the moment, I think could easily just really get past him, but he's choosing not to. Maybe he's trying to save it for the last few laps, and he's got 14 laps to go. He can break it where he wants, but now he's doing actually back of him, using 0 ERS, just ERS here for the Welshman, and he's going to keep behind Joe. Nothing changes really there. Same with Overkills, who is all at the back of Pierre Brown. Nothing really changing there, and behind them, Rosberg is really falling off now. Ever since he's lost that DRS on those hard tyres, it's just not looking good for the Irishman, who was at one point looking fly high with a podium surely on the cards. Now he's in P5, and he's got the Brazilian of Shizuka chasing him down. The gap is now 3.2. It was 4 seconds just a few laps ago.
Pierce Overkills picks up his 3rd penalty of the race. As he runs very wide through the next corner, and the tactic Joe could deploy is trying to back his teammate up into P1 Brown, maybe give the Mercedes drivers something to think about. It's not often we see these two have penalties or even warnings in general, so could that deploy some pressure on his teammate? But I'm sure Surprise would go for a move if that was the case, and at the moment it seems quite stagnated, as we said a few laps ago, Callum.
Yep, it's almost, as you say, as Joe's loading up a little bit there, he's surely now pushing the room, but he's set a 1:34.5 to set the fastest lap, and he's pulling a little bit away from Surprise that you can see as Surprise has gained a bit back with ERS, but maybe Joe's testing the waters a little bit.
Overkills.
As Overkills does get past ILR Ground there for third position. It won't matter in the hindsight as Overkills has got 9 seconds worth of penalties to his name. So at the moment it is all good for Gloria's ILR Brown, who's all at the back of the Red Bull, who is looking, he's got very good pace, but all these warnings and penalties accumulating is just hurting his race. And he might finish on the podium in the race, but he could finish down in 6th or even 7th, which you know, would be pretty heartbreaking for him.
Yeah, he's shown some good racecraft. He's not got consistency to make sure he can get those amount of warnings down. It is a very tempting track in terms of the apex, wanting to put the corner, looking for those limits. As Jarlex finds the temptation, picks up his second penalty, I believe. There's Piano Brown sticking very close to the back of the Red Bull driver. And Cyril's not made the progress that we wanted to over the last few laps, still just the 4 seconds behind CRL Rosberg, who's made it 4th position in this race. So, the biggest mover of the grid so far. He said he had great race pace, but he's supporting that claim so far.
Yeah, just on board with Velocity's Surprise, who is cruising up to the back of Joe. Once again, he's going to choose not to go for a move on his teammate, but behind. Maybe Brown might go for a move. He's small close, but no, he refuses to make a move on Overkills. Maybe thinking that he'll, with these guys getting DRS each other, they might pull away from Rosberg, who does have a few penalties in mind, but they're probably thinking behind him, Sirach, who is catching, once again, maybe he made a mistake last lap, as he did got the gap back up to 4 seconds, but you know, you can never count out the Brazilian on the pads, as he's been called probably one of the best players on the game with the pad or controller. But yeah, he's coming down in 6th, not to his own doing. He did unfortunately have a altercation with VSR Overkills, which maybe looked at in the stewards. We will find out after the race, but for now we're going to focus on the action in the race. Surprise, not going for a move again. I don't think you can see that many moves at this point in the race. Well, especially with these guys trying to form the gaps and trying to save the ERS. And at the moment, I'm looking at the ERS. Joe and Surprise, I mean, they've got 90 and 100 respectively. I mean, that is incredible, and they're still gapping Overkills. So it's got to 4.2, and these guys, well, you can tell now they probably are pushing their hardest, trying to catch up to the two Mercedes ahead. It just shows that they have a superior pace at the moment.
Yeah, it's the only sort of advantage that we have is Piano Brown and Overkills. Piano Brown in that overtake mode opts to move it back there to non-stick behind the Red Bull driver, and Cyril Rosberg sitting.
Oh, never mind about that. Brown has got past him. Overkills has a little bit of a tank slapper coming out of turn 2, and that has allowed Brown to get past, and now he's up into the podium position that he has been fighting for the majority of this race. And let's see if Overkills can get back past him in the next lap or so. I mean, he's going to keep on behind. He's only three tenths behind the Williams driver, who at the moment is looking probably the fastest out of the rest of the drivers in this race, bar the two up front, as we're on board with these two. Surprise, again, he's not really, again, you can see he's 0 ERS down the whole of this back straight, just using the DRS to its advantage. It's such a, I wouldn't say broken feature, but it's just a good aim for drivers behind. Just putting it into his DRS and just keeping behind the driver in front. Potentially even conserving the tyres. That is maybe what Surprise is doing, knowing he has a lap older tyres than Joe. Maybe he's trying to encourage Joe to go and push as hard as he can. So at the end of the race, you know, as he always gets a little bit of tank slapper coming out of the last corners. Alright, so penalties for Lord, there was 0 and Overkills both get penalties. I think Overkills up to 12 12 seconds right now. Not good for the VSR driver. But now going on board with going on board with the VSR driver. He's going to go for a move down into turn 1. Surely here, and he backs out at the last second, giving P1R Brown a little bit of fright there. But all these penalties, I mean, they're probably put him down behind EVR Reynolds.
Yeah, but I think Reynolds has picked up a couple of penalties, as has Duralex, but Sera's starting to make his move. He's gained over the last hours. He picks up a penalty there from the inside of turn 3. It's quite a weird way to get a penalty there. But he's starting to make his move on Cyril Rosberg, a second and a half over the last 2 or 3 laps. And Kills still within that 0.3 of a second. I'm sure towards the end of this race we could see a 4-way battle for the podium. And EVR Reynolds, there you go, picks up another penalty on the road.
We said at the start of this race, I mean, it would be penalties galore. It's such a strict track for corner cutting, and I mean, I found in the past in league races it's almost virtually impossible to not get a penalty. I mean, the guys up in front, Joe and Surprise, I don't know how they've done it. I mean, between them, I think they've got 2 warnings. I'll check in a moment, but we're going to keep on board with Surprise. 9 laps left to go. Surely he's going to try and go for a move now. He's been closer than he's been. As P1R Brown picks up another penalty. This is all fallen to the hands of Cyril, who I believe only has 1 penalty. But now, Surprise, he's going for a move on his teammate into turn 1, and he's made the move stick round the outside. Joe's going to come back at him, but I think that his move set and done for this lap, and now Surprise up into the lead of the Russian Grand Prix.
Yes, I think Surprise has decided it's time to try and bolt away from my teammate. And looking down the field, with that penalty from P1R Brown, the podium position will be very close between these 4. I think Overkill's got 12 seconds. I think Rosberg's down up to 14 seconds. I think Cyril and Brown are down at 6 seconds. But penalty or so for Brown and Cyril, and it could bring them right together towards the end of this race. And the gap now 2 seconds between Rosberg and Cyril. Closing Rosberg and Cyril, sorry, bringing the gap down. I'm sure Cyril trying to fight for that final podium spot to try and lose as little points as he can to the Mercedes drivers. And now Joe is sticking well with his teammate. Then how closely matched they are.
I'm just going to check the penalty counts real quick. Well, no, the warning count, as Surprise, has currently got 2 warnings. Well, Joe has not got a single warning in this race. Credit to the Mercedes driver. He's absolutely, he's been clean. He's been as clean as also there, and not got a single warning. Meanwhile, Surprise is 1 away from potentially ruining his whole race. But now you can see, so Joe, unlike Surprise, he isn't faring that well behind his teammate. I don't know if Surprise, he's just got the faster or the better race pace at the moment, but you can see there's a visible gap between Joe and Surprise coming out those last few kills. We've seen it throughout the whole of the race. I mean, Joe just not being able to get anywhere near his teammate coming down to turn 1. As we're just looking down at the field, I think Bastek might be angling up for a move on Jason 97. This is the battle for 9th place. These 2 did have some wing damage at the start of the race in the high incident, which we unfortunately did miss. But yeah, at the moment that you're going to keep in tandem. I think we're going to see a lot of that. We've seen a lot of that this race so far, and we're going to see a lot of it throughout the last 8 or so laps of this race. Does it look like to you? I'm just on board with Team Mercedes, but in the second sector, it's been a little bit cloudy, isn't it?
Yes, there was no schedule for rain, but there is there's always a possibility with Codemasters games. There's Joe getting very close to the back of Surprise there through the last chicane, and just about keeping it clean now for Joe. Whether he can keep it clean and then maybe look to make a move over the last couple of laps. He's a lot closer this time. If he'll go for that move, he's staying in overtake. I think we've got an exchange for the lead here, and he goes down the inside. Surprise, there goes for the switchback. Just going around the outside of turn 3. Got back and forth with P1 our brothers side by side, the two Mercedes drivers who will break the latest, and Price has that inside line. Cuts off Joe and retakes the lead of the Grand Prix.
What a
Sure,
exchange
Joe
there.
now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What an exchange there from the two Mercedes, and they were up, the respect given between these two was incredible levels, and they're battling, they're putting on a show for us here, and it's a show for you guys who are watching the stream at the moment. Joe, I mean, I thought he had the move done. He got that inside surprise. He surprised me, thought, no, he's well a little bit earlier and able to keep Joe behind him, going through the first sector, and now coming through to the final sector as well. Joe is going to be able to, within that second of surprise, that crucial second that you really, if you get out of that, then you can just kiss your race goodbye. Really, there's no real way to get near the car in front. You can see going through the last sector. Joe, he's a little bit far behind now, but I'm sure he's going to whack it up into over and take DRS, and you see now Surprise gets a really, I'm not saying it's a really bad exit out of that last corner. You haven't really seen that from the world so far. You see, he's going to come off the inside line. He's got the inside line, and he's going to force Joe to go around the outside, and Joe has made it surely, but he's got a little bit wide, a little into turn 2 as well. He tries to get some sort of run around the outside. The turn 3. He's going to get removed now in turn 4. No, he's not going to allow Joe to leave this for the rest of the lap. But again, what a move there from Joe. He's got a train, this is left, right and centre.
Yeah, if you remember back to Silverstone, that great exchange between these two drivers on the final lap, Surprise winning out that time around, I believe. And yeah, these two drivers so closely matched, such fine minute details between the two. Who will come out on top around such an autodrome as Surprise, just within half a second now of his teammate, trying to stick to the back as he's gone back down into no ERS. And yeah, he's getting that bit cloudier. That should help the tyre temps as Overkill's 2/10 still behind P1R Brown. And Cyril now within DRS range of Cyril Rosberg. I think Cyril Rosberg made a mistake there, 2 seconds or sort of to the battle for the podium. And we'll go back on the board and lead quickly.
I was about to say, going back on board with the two Mercedes, here's where it's been joining like Rosberg and Hamilton in Bahrain 2014. Hopefully it won't end like 2016 with these guys. But you can see now, Surprise is going to look down the inside, doing the cheeky way of saying, hello, I'm here. And not give Joe sort of a little stare on, no Joe keep calm and focus on the win. Now as Rosberg is passed by Cyril, I mean that was pretty inevitable. Cyril was in that second gap, and now Cyril has 4.6 seconds to get up to the podium positions. I mean, I'm looking at the penalty cam right now. He's on the same amount.
Rosberg's getting down inside.
So close between these two. Rosberg is desperate to keep his 5th position there, but Cyril is able to keep able to outplay him. He broke the latest and clears up into P5 on this recovery ride, and Jason gets a penalty for his road.
Yeah, it's important that Cyril maintains that gap between himself and Overkills, because we believe has 12 seconds. Cyril himself has 6 seconds worth of penalty. It looks like P1R Brown is going to take that final podium spot at the minute.
Ooh, just looking at the battle for the lead, sorry, as Surprise got so close to the rear end of Joe there. I don't know if Joe tried to strike him right now, but you can see that he's going wider than usual. And Surprise is probably licking his lips, he knows now that he's probably forced Joe to push his tyres to a limit just to keep up with him. But what can the Roger driver do here on to lap 23? The tyres are getting darker and darker. Could we see some rain after the lap? We weren't supposed to have it, but now you see Surprise, he's going to keep it in medium. DRS. Is he going to go down the inside? No, he's not. He's going to give it another look. And Joe remaining calm in his position. But behind him, Overkill, Joe's going to move on down, peacefully on track. Overkill is going to go up into the podium positions. It's been a great drive for him so far, if you minus the penalty.
Yes, and most importantly for Joe is that he has a lot more ERS at this stage than his teammate. That could come into play towards the end of this race. As Overkills has had a great race, I'm sure. Will be proud of his performance other than
Sorry,
his penalties.
I was about to interrupt you there, but Alex and Reynolds are going side by side through turn 3 there. They're battling P7 right now. Two drivers who have really struggled so far this race to get anywhere sort of near the top 6, and they're now fighting out for the best of what I'd say the best of the rest. As that's almost the man inside and will keep behind Reynolds, probably go for a move on to lap 24, but we're going to go and keep aboard with the battle that we've been celebrating over the last 10 or so laps. It is Joe and surprises Overkills. It's his 5th penalty of the race. My word, he's almost at a disqualification point. How Travis gets past Reynolds into the back straight, but now we're going to keep aboard with the lock chase surprise and on the road Joe. Surprise is going to go there, so he's here with 4 laps left to go in this race, so to see this one. No good keep behind him. I think he's just trying to drain Joe off any sort of DRS. Joe is a little wide there, but he's able to keep the momentum. But see to drive, he's so he's got such good exit speed on out of these corners. He's just keeping behind Joe. Even when Joe's pushing his hard, you can see where Joe's putting it up in Joe's DRS. And surprised not, he's able to keep up with him. I think that's behind around. The gap is now 4 seconds. Will he be able to get into position after what was now going on to the last DRS overtaking opportunities of the lap. Here you can see there's the back of him. But actually surprised his favour, even though he's not got the DRS to play with. Onto that last lap, he's some sort of move on Joe. On the back of Oliver, it's Joe.
I died there, sorry.
Yep, sorry about that. At the moment to balance to keep the focus all on the back of his team and Joe's say it's the Englishman. But you see Reynolds has a penalty there, and that's going to be the battle with Gran, which has been going on for a long time. And drivers all over the back of our British Joe. Put up with the higher rest of ladies was going to look for the he's going to make a move, he's gone down the outside Joe as he can get here, but now he's got a bit of water and he was right again, but Joe needs to drive out of the corner really, but surely now surprise and he's going to go side by side and Joe is I think they realised that he was going to overtake him. Now he can get on the back of the rock position. The back end is the action right here. And unfortunately died there, and Joe's going to go down the inside of the rock and Prix is now surely John passing the next he's going to be losing position. Like an absolutely madman on the surprise. I'm going to see now 4 penalties. Oh, I say so last that drama, I don't they problems for the drivers. Why is he going to go down and he's going to go to the switch back, although he's going to keep looking to second 3, but now it's absolutely here. ILR is always been there. Guys now that he's trying to get off back, he's going to make a sort of move going on to lap. He's got a he's going to surely be able to defend the inside line here. Surprise break, late enough. Joe just to get the move done, but then he's still the inside line. Joe is surely going to have to make don't go down the inside. There's a run, and unfortunately back forward. He's surely given them the Joe. I'm just going to get Joe.
Oh, it's Joe. Joe went down the inside.
But he's not fast.
Down the inside there, slightly. And now they go onto the back straight. Apologies for the stream lag, it's trying to lag. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the battle too much. A surprise is going again round the of Joe. Joe's brakes back. I think that will be it. A surprise magic in these final 3 corners. Joe just needs to keep it clean.
Yeah, Joe is what he's kept it clean. Oh my God! No, he's not the top! Oh my God! Over the whole other round. He's going to come home in P7. Zero there, he's going to come in P4. Over the P's, he's going to find onto the penalties. Alex is going to come home in P7. What a drive it is from the and Reynolds there taking 5 penalties, so he's going to come in P8. Jason is going to come home in P9. Bassett is going to round up towards it, including his last striker.
Jason gets up to
what intense final battle. That's like 4 penalties, but what a tense battle. Everyone in the street who unfortunately we've done a bit of a I believe we do some podium interviews here, so we'll come and get some you can see there Joe that wins in Grand Prix to ILR on. I'm going to go and invite these guys into the party and get their takes on what was one of probably it was a great fight. It was worthy of the Bahrain 2014 I gave it, but we're going to go down the grid. We've got, oh my God, it's Joe who gets pole and the victory. Surprise, that last lap penalty really unfortunate for him. He comes 3. Sierra, good comeback drive for P4. Overkilled with all his penalties. Did just get P5. Sorry, Rosberg P6. Drax P7. Jason 97 89. Either Reynolds will round out the top 10. And Bruno Will is the last of the pit rooms. Is the only I've got to say that was an amazing race there, Luke, and we've got now hopefully we've got the drivers in for some interviews.
Yeah, shame the stream started to lag towards the end of the race. I think we got the majority of the battle, but yeah, it was from what I could see, well, I could see what the stream started, it was a great battle between 2 very talented. It's a shame that Surprise picked up that penalty on that last stand to the end of it. It was a great drive from the top 3.
Yep, as we're waiting for them to join the party. But yeah, what a race that was. Just waiting for all the drivers on the podium get views off and running. But yeah, what would you rate that out of 10, Luke? I'd say it's definitely a good 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. It's a fascinating race with a lot of strategy as the drivers are joining the party now.
Yeah, I believe someone has got their a bit of an echo on their mic, unfortunately, but we'll put it on. We're just waiting for Joe to get into the party. But what we'll do is I'll hand over to Luke to interview P3 in the race.
Yep, well done, P1R Brown on your podium. It was a strong drive, just not enough to challenge the top 2. How would you assess your race?
I think the top 2 were just obsolete. You couldn't catch them. Even when they started the battle, the time didn't come down. So, yeah, it was just trying to keep overkills behind me. And then I knew he had 6 seconds more worth penalties. So, it was just stick with him until the end. Yeah, that was about it.
Was the key point in that race where Overkills made contact with Sierra, and that's when the DRS train from the top 2 just went.
Yeah, I was. That caught me off guard when Sierra was going backwards into turn 2, so I lost a bit of time to that there, but the front 2 were just way too quick for the rest of us. I think if that contact didn't happen, we probably had a 6-car train. And it didn't help that my DRS broke on lap 1 as well, so I was basically a sit and duck until lap 4, who was behind me.
Yeah, and then looking ahead, I think we have the Japanese. What's your pace around there? You got any expectations? Another podium, or can you take the fight to Mercedes?
Taking the fight to the two Mercedes is a no-no. Them two are just way too fast. And you got Sire as well. Pace when I practice around there is pretty decent, but when it comes to the race, it's just a mess. My practice pace is worse than my proper race pace, so then I can actually improve.
Well, thank you for your interview there, and it's a good result for yourself. Best of the rest, if you want to say it like that. Congratulations, and Callum, you can interview the top two.
Thank you very much. We're going to first start with a P2 Veloce Surprise. Surprise as a pretty good race to commentate between yourself and Joe. Obviously, from a driver's perspective.
Yeah, it was a good race. It was quite fun. The goal was to just stick with the top two. The championship's looking quite good now in my favour, so podium's just where I need consistent results, beating Sira preferably. But yeah, me and Joe managed to pull away, and then I don't know what happened to Sira, but I just seen him backwards going towards a wall. Yeah, and then he was just sticking in the slipstream, breakaway, failing, and then at the end I got the penalty. Yeah, nothing much more to say really. Just GG to the top three, and
yeah, and obviously the next one being the Japanese Grand Prix. How confident do you feel you'll be able to take next week in Japan?
Pace doesn't really matter with the big slipstream DRS trains. I'm not sure how powerful it is around there. Shouldn't be too bad, but it's F1 2019, so for now, pace. I think the pace will be strong, but that will Joe and Cyrus, so it'll probably just be again, and then yeah, whoever wins, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you for taking time to talk to us, and congratulations on your second place. We're going to move on to Joe, the winner. Joe, well done on your win. That was a very entertaining spectacle. I'm sure the viewers enjoyed that one very much. We were making some comparisons between you and Surprise about the Rosberg-Hamilton battle at Bahrain. That's accurate from your perspective?
Yeah, I'd say so. It wasn't quite up to our battle in Britain, but yeah, it was a decent battle nonetheless, I'd say.
Yeah, and obviously how your race went. Was it was it a track that you were very confident on, Russia? Because obviously in qualifying your banker lap was pretty good, and then you put it on pole.
Yeah, the banker lap was pretty nice, to be honest, but I couldn't really find much time after that, weirdly. But I just about got pole. It was by like 200th, I think, something like that. And yeah, the track isn't really a favourite of anyone. I'm not really that confident on it, but all I had to do was just keep it within the white lines and not get any penalties, and yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, and obviously I've been put to two drivers on the podium. Next week is Japan, Suzuka circuit. How confident are you feeling that you can challenge for the win around Suzuka?
Well, I haven't done it on this game, so to be honest, I'm not really too sure, so I can't really comment. But going off last game, it should be an alright race. I should have enough pace to battle with the likes of Josh again, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Very much for taking the time to talk to us, and congratulations on your win of the Russian Grand Prix in ILR.
Cheers, man.
And I think that is going to wrap up the podium interviews, and I think it's going to wrap up the stream in general. Obviously, this has been my first race and commentating here, and I enjoyed it very much. But I hope everyone who's viewing has enjoyed this as well. Congratulations to the top three on their podiums, and yeah,